Hi, and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. Hope you've had yourself a great day. We are here for you guys tonight, broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, and also on Twitch. You can watch us live on any of those platforms. So make sure you get involved. You can get your comments in, you can get super chats in, anything you want to do, get them in tonight. And we've got a very special guest on the show tonight. He was on here a couple of weeks ago and he was brilliant. Lots of people have been asking to bring him back. We got Drifty. How you doing, Drifty?
What's up, Robbie? What's up? What's good, people? Glad to be back again, man.
No, good, man. Good to have you here. Drifty from Coppish. Massive Liverpool fan, of course. And we're going to be discussing a bit of Liverpool and implications of the league, which we seem to be talking about forever, but it is still very, very current at the moment. Just before we get to that, bit of the transfer news that's going around. First of all, Nabil Fekir. Now, you know him, Drifty, because you guys were looking to buy him. You didn't buy him in the end. There was talk of injuries and stuff like that, and he ended up going from Lyon to Real Betis. He's had a decent enough season. I think, 7 goals and 6 assists. Arsenal have been very interested in him, in trying to bring him to the Premier League. But being told today that Nabil Fekir is saying that he wants to stay at Real Betis, which is a bit of a surprise because I thought he'd want to sort of step it up and maybe go elsewhere. But he is saying that he's wanting to stay. And there's a lot of players now probably looking for a bit of security. So you're at a club already, you're earning money, you know, they got to take these things into consideration now. But Nabil Fekir, you would have looked at him hard, Drifty, when it was proposed for him to come to Liverpool. And as you said, it fell through at the last minute. How good is he?
Very good. Very, very good player. Real special talent. The knee injury did knock him back a little bit. I think if he hadn't got that knee injury, he probably would have been right up there in the priorities for people's transfer targets. Probably about 2 or 3 seasons ago now when he did his knee in it. So maybe just after Klopp came to Liverpool, round about that time. I think at that time he was flying. He's still relatively young as well. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he's old.
26 now.
Yeah, so he's still young. What it is there's 2 ways to fix your knee when you do a cruciate. There's a way that is quite quick, but it may go again. And then there's the one that's a long process back, but it should be good forever. And he kind of, under the advice, took the quicker option. So I think that's what everybody's worried about with his knee. His knee isn't bad right now, but it may go again because he's constantly playing on it. He's constantly, putting it under pressure. It may go again. And I think that's where the concern was with us. Because he wasn't injured at the time. They were just worried in about 2 years or so, this could go. I think it was just over 50 mil we were going to pay for him as well.
53 million, man.
Yeah, which is a lot of money, obviously. And I think they were just a little concerned that the knee may go and all of that money, we may only get maybe 1 or maybe 2 seasons out of him for all of that. But we had Fekir Friday. It was trending. We saw him in a Liverpool kit. We thought he was a Liverpool player, and I was over the moon. Callum, my team member as well. He is a real Fekir fan. So it'll be a punch in the gut if he went to Arsenal for him. So yeah, man. If you guys could get hold of him, I mean, you got the worry with the knee in it. You do have the slight worry. But if you look at what he did at Betis this season, at the moment, the knee's not bothering him. Do you know what I mean? So, good talent, man.
Well, as I'm hearing about that knee thing, maybe it's best that we don't get him because knowing our luck, he'll come over here to Arsenal and that knee will go straight away. You know what I mean? I know what we're like, man. You know what I mean? We have players who buy them with bad backs. We've had players that have come in like last year, Dennis Suarez injured. No, we don't need no more injured players right now. So, no. And also, another one of the interesting transfer things surrounding Arsenal is obviously we got Henrik Mkhitaryan at Arsenal. He's been out on loan at Roma. He's had himself a decent season, but again, another player that's had a few injuries. But Roma really, really keen on him. Arsenal want about 20 million for him. Roma want to pay about just under 10 million for him. There's a bit of an impasse there. Mkhitaryan wants to go to Roma, wants to make it a permanent deal. There's a lot of talk coming out of Italy today that maybe Roma might be willing to give us Cengiz Under, for Mkhitaryan if we pay a bit of money plus Mkhitaryan in the deal. Cengiz Under, Turkish international, very good player. Also been after him beforehand and been very interested in bringing him in, but it hasn't happened. But could this be a deal that could take place as well? Cengiz Under. That is something that Arsenal apparently investigating at the moment. I don't know what you guys think about that out there. Have you heard of Cengiz Under, Turkish player?
A little bit. I'll be honest. I don't know a great deal about him.
He's decent.
Yeah. I mean, how much when you was trying to buy him? How much were you offering for him?
I think I don't know how much we offered, but at the time they wanted about 30 million. So he is a highly rated player, although he hasn't figured a lot for Roma this season, which has been quite surprising. He's still quite young because he's only 22. He hasn't figured that much. But let's see how that one develops out. Another story that came out today was about Granit Xhaka. Now, we would all remember the infamous incident where Granit Xhaka, what happened was he was at the game. His number came up for him to be substituted. There were some ironic cheers by some Arsenal fans who were a bit disappointed with his performance. And then he lost it. He completely lost it. He started having a go at the fans. He swore at the fans. He threw down the armband or threw it away. And it was not a good look. And he's come out and he's spoken about it today. I'll just get his some of the quotes. But he was chatting to a publication called Sport One, and it was we playing Crystal Palace. That's who he was playing. And he said, these are his quotes. He says, "These whistles against me, this hatred, that was brand new for me. What happened? You cannot undo it. Maybe it was a misunderstanding on both sides, and both sides overacted to some extent." He then went on to praise Mikel Arteta because Arteta's brought him back into the team, and he's been playing quite well recently. Actually, he's been up until the shutdown, he was doing well, and he's at that time most Arsenal fans wanted him gone, and I think he wanted to go as well, and he was linked to her for Berlin, but now he said he wants to stay. He's got a good relationship with Arteta. I'm still a bit uncomfortable when he says misunderstanding. And that's the one thing, I mean, and I've moved on from the whole incident, and I think Arsenal fans in general have moved on as well. But he never really apologised. And even then, when you see him saying that it was a misunderstanding, it was not. Listen, I've said right from the beginning of it, because I was at the game, I didn't like the way when his number came up, there was ironic cheers. I didn't like that. That was wrong. But you got to handle that. It happens in football. I'm sure you guys have had that at Liverpool over the years. I'm sure Henderson has had that, hasn't he? Bit pre-Henderson now. I'm sure he's had that.
Not as bad as what you guys did to Xhaka. It wasn't on that level. But there's a few players over the years. Lucas Leiva, for example, he used to get ironic cheers, boos, all of that. Like the beginning of his Liverpool career was rough, and he wasn't a captain or anything. Where obviously Xhaka did have that more responsibility as the captain as well. But the way Lucas came through it and then became a fan favourite was amazing, and it showed how strong he was mentally to come through that. So there's been players at every club, I reckon, who've been booed. And, you know what I mean? It happens.
And I just feel that he's never apologised. He's kind of got away with one because of Mikel Arteta, in my opinion, because he never apologised. To me, sometimes in life, you just say sorry. You don't look at it and say, well, actually, the reason I did it was this and blah, 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 that. And sometimes you just got to say sorry. You know what it's like sometimes even with your missus. You're right. You know you're right. But just a done thing to say, I'm sorry. And that's it. It's over. But when you start saying things like misunderstanding, people are like, what? Which misunderstanding? Get off the pitch. You know what I mean? I just, Still don't think he's really grasped that he should really have said sorry. And if you don't say sorry, it's great at the moment. He's fine. As I said, he's playing a lot better and he's doing well under Mikel Arteta. But what if you have another dip in form? People will remember you didn't really say sorry. People will remember that you were just saying you're trying to claim it as misunderstanding and stuff like that. So I still think, you know, I don't know. He's obviously a very sort of stubborn guy. But I still think that's a mistake. But I don't know what you think about that, Drifty.
Yeah, he should have made a proper apology. That goes without saying. If I know fans don't want to be patronized, and we can kind of see through things, but even if you have a shallow sorry, it's still a sorry, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, the funny thing is, I'm trying to think about similar situations at Liverpool in terms of discipline. This one was a lot more public. But for example, we had Sacco, who I thought was our best defender at the time, and I think most Liverpool fans agree. Him and Lovren had a decent partnership. We got to the Europa League final, and I really liked him. And then he had the situation with the wrongful accusation of the drug use, which he got proved innocent for in the end. But at the time, obviously, it was kind of giving the club a bit of a bad name, unfairly on him, whatever. And then it came out that he was messing around a little bit in training and was being late and stuff. And Klopp just got rid of him. Like he just got rid of him. And at the time, I was really upset with Klopp for doing that because I felt like he was cutting off his nose to spite his face. I felt like it was a bit over the top for what had happened. Looking back on it now, and now we're successful, I guess I could, in hindsight, say, oh, it worked. But for a large period of time until we bought Van Dijk, I feel we struggled because we did that. So I'm trying to think whether it was a good or a bad idea to bring Xhaka back in terms of, should you have stuck to your guns and said, no, it was too disrespectful, it was over the top, we got to set an example and do what we did with Sacco and just get rid of him? Or is it better that you didn't cut your nose off to spite your face, bring in a player who's one of your better midfielders, whether you like him or not, and it helped Arsenal to start gaining form back? It's a tough one, isn't it? It's hard to kind of gauge whether it was a wrong or right.
And then you go like, look at Lovren. He gets a lot of stick, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's not a problem to the manager though, so it's a bit different. Like he's always professional within what he does. So I guess. No,
but I'm saying he gets a lot of stick off the fans, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. I've ended up becoming his defender. I used to be one of his biggest critics, but he got so much abuse. I started to dislike the abuse, and now I'm like his protector almost. I'm like the Lovren fan club now. I'm like, nah, just leave him alone, you lot, man. Do you know what I mean? So. Yeah, Lovren gets a lot of stick. He does. Yeah,
I mean, this guy here, Abdil, is saying that the fans have to apologise because they got onto his nerves, right? I don't think the fans do have to apologise. Remember, there's 60,000 fans in that stadium. It wasn't every fan that was having a go at Xhaka, especially at first, because what happened was, as I said, his number came up, and I'd say there was if I was to put it in a percentage, there's probably 5 to 10% of the crowd that were giving him ironic cheers. So his number came out and they were like, hey, get off, go on, right? I weren't doing it. So what should I apologise for? I wasn't doing that. I at the time, I didn't like it. I was like, why are these people doing that? That's not right. You shouldn't do that. But as you said, a lot of players get stick. You just got to hold it and come off the pitch. But where he then got a lot of booing, and this is where I think Xhaka gets it wrong. Where people really started booing him now is when he started walking off the pitch really slowly and then going like this at the fan. That's when a lot of fans who hadn't have done that in the first place were like, get off. Because remember, if I remember rightly, we were losing that game as well. We were struggling in that game. So then it's like, we don't bother about, we don't care about your hissy fit. We don't care about the fans who had a go at you. Just get off the pitch so we can get another player on and try and win this game. That's what we were all concerned about. And I just felt that he's not got that. He's just not understood that at all. That's why. And it's so, what a fan's got to apologise for? I was at the game. I ain't got nothing to apologise for because I weren't booing Xhaka. So I don't think you can say it. But he did his action. So he needs to be responsible for his action. And I think that he should just come out with an apology. But listen, we move on. But as I said, these things have a way of that. If something else happens in the future, people will go back to that incident and they will remember that he didn't apologize and they'll be on his case again. So that's the only thing I'd say with him. So
setting himself up for failure, innit, basically.
A lot of players get stick. You just said Henderson. I've heard Liverpool fans like a couple of seasons ago, mate, right, he's crap, right? And I'm sure he must have in certain games some rumblings when he's playing. I mean, was there?
Yeah. Look, even from a personal point of view, so I'm not even speaking for anyone else, I'll speak for myself. I remember when it was about maybe a week before the end of the window, and we were being linked with Clint Dempsey. And at the time, Dempsey was a very, very good Premier League player at the time. And I remember I personally was upset that Henderson rejected the move to Fulham, which would have brought Dempsey to Liverpool. And obviously, again, in hindsight, I'm like, that was the best thing that ever happened to the club. But at the time, I was like, I don't think Henderson's good enough. Like, I'd rather Dempsey. So if you think about the turnaround from that to lifting 3 trophies, possibly a 4th, being the captain, lead, like the turnaround is incredible what Henderson has done with people on his back the whole way. Publicly, Alex Ferguson came out and criticised him for no reason. Like, all these things.
His one's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, and just unnecessary, innit? Like,
and it comes from Fergie. That's very damaging because people will jump on that. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
And he's just got his head down, and he's done his thing, and now everybody's got nothing but respect for him.
He should be England captain now, in my opinion.
Sorry?
He should be England captain, in my opinion.
Who's England captain at the moment?
Kane, innit?
Yeah. I reckon Henderson should be England captain because Kane ain't no captain.
No.
Kane ain't no captain. Yeah, you're right. He should probably and as you said, and look at how before everyone was getting on his case. So I agree with that. What you're saying there, and that's why I said, in the case of Xhaka, it happens, man. I remember Ibue at Arsenal getting loads of stick, and he bounced back from it and done well. I remember Bentner used to get way more stick than what I see Xhaka get. But he just played on. I mean, because you can't fight against 60,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 fans. You just got to get your head down and play. The other big story today, of course, is all about it kind of broke yesterday. The French League. French League, of course, got cancelled yesterday. What are you laughing about? We are laughing. Right, the French League got cancelled yesterday because of the coronavirus thing. The Prime Minister in France came out and said there's not going to be no major sporting events until September, which meant there's no point in continuing on the league. The league was cancelled. Now we hear today, and I've got the exact info here. We hear today that the league is going to be awarded to Paris Saint-Germain. They are going to be. There were 15 points. No, sorry, there were 12 points clear of second place Marseille, and there was 11 games to go, which is actually one more than there is over here. Most teams have got 9 or 10 games left. Also in League 2 in France, the league leaders Lorient, they've been awarded the title and are promoted alongside Lens in second place. They've both been promoted, and Amiens and Toulouse have both been relegated from the league. So very harsh on them, but I don't know if this set a precedent for Liverpool, because of course, it has been Paris Saint-Germain were 12 points clear. You guys are 25 points clear, and they've been awarded the league. And again, Leeds fans will be looking on it. West Brom fans will be looking on it because, as I said, Lorient and Lens have both been promoted up. And so now we're starting to look at it and say, well, if the league is cancelled, could the Premier League go the same way? Should we just award it to Liverpool? There's also the fact that, they're trying to get the league restarted. There's this project restart thing that they're doing. They're trying to get it restarted, but they seem to be running into a lot of problems. It's definitely going to be behind closed doors, but there's been talk that they might play the games on a neutral ground. St. George's Park was suggested. Wembley's been suggested. there's a lot of clubs that are rejecting that. They're saying, no, if it can't be played at our ground, we don't want to do it because it's, you know, we should be able to play, even though there's not going to be any fans there, we want to play it on our pitch. It's undermining the league if you then move those last games to it being played on a neutral venue. So there's all kind of problems. The Bundesliga, which was looking to start back next week, has been put back a week, or start back training next week has been put back a week. And they've got less cases over there of the coronavirus than us, and they're ahead of us in that aspect. So it's really interesting to see what's going to happen. Will we be able to get the league restarted? If we can't, should it just be awarded to Liverpool? I've spoken to you about this before the last time you came on. You said you haven't got a problem with the league being awarded to Liverpool. We had the other night we had Stricto on, big Arsenal fan, who was saying no. He goes, he would be 100% against it, Liverpool being awarded the title. You haven't won it, so you shouldn't just be awarded it. And it does look a bit unfair. If you're even looking in the French league, those two teams that have gone down, you know, 11 games left. They could have turned it around. I mean, if that was me, I'd be launching a legal case. So I'm still a bit, I've said this from the beginning, it's not just because you're on here. I don't think teams should get awarded this. If it's not finished, that's it. Start again next year. Have you changed your mind since the last time you come on?
No, I'm even more. I'm even more stamped into the way. You see the relegation. I think that's a real liberty. I do. I think that's really, really harsh because I feel like that is very detrimental to the club, the history, the future, and everything that comes with what relegation can mean to some teams. With Leeds, for example, we've seen they have clawed tooth and nail to get back to the Premier League ever since they were relegated. And imagine if that relegation was based off of this season, how harsh the next, 15 years of their history would have been or whatever it's been. So I feel like the relegation part is really, really harsh. I was looking more at a larger number of teams relegated following season and only do promotion, don't do any relegation. I felt like that would have been a bit more easier. And then just say eliminate the League Cup from Premier League participation. Let the lower leagues have that cup. And then when those games are to play, we can just play the couple extra league games, won't really make a fixture pile up. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's more what they should have done with regards to relegation. But with the top four, with the Europa League and with the title, I think it's only fair that you're rewarded what you've gained so far in the season.
No, how can that be? I'm against that. You know what I mean? Because
you've done it all for no reason, Rob.
And you're making one rule for one and not for the other. So it's all right. At the top, yeah, it's all right. Everyone just there, first to fourth, yeah, that's cool. But then you're complaining about it's a bit harsh on the relegation.
Yeah, because relegation's detrimental to smaller clubs' future. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's very, very harsh to put them in debt deliberately, if you get what I mean.
Top four is detrimental because you've seen already even at Arsenal, right? The other day when they said about players taking a pay cut, one of the things they've put to it is that if you get into the Champions League, you don't have to take a pay cut. So top four is detrimental to a team like us and to many other teams as well, the amount of money that you're going to make. It's all right for you guys, you're right at the top. But it's like you're making... Because I can see what they've done in the French league. They probably looked on it and said, we can't give the league to PSG and not then do the same at the bottom and relegate teams. It has to be, you either do that or you do nothing. So I think it would have to be the same here. If you gave the league to Liverpool and you said 1, 2, 3, 4, you guys, the four at the moment, you will go to the Champions League, then you have to relegate the teams at the bottom.
I mean, if you want to,
I got to get the table up. Let me just get the table so that we can look at how close it is. So at the bottom of the table, right, you've got Norwich on 21 points. Cut adrift, but they could still get out of it. Aston Villa on 25 points with a game in hand over Bournemouth are on 27 points and a game in hand over Watford on 27 and West Ham on 29, on 27 as well. So they're only 2 points off of those teams, and they got a game in hand. How can it be fair then that you then say, right, the teams at the bottom, those bottom three, Bournemouth, Villa, and Norwich, you're all relegated. Then you look at the top four. You know, you've got Chelsea there on 48, but you've got Man United on 45. They're just behind them. Wolves on 43. Sheffield United on 43 with a game in hand. Going right down to Arsenal on 40 in 9th place. You can't just give it out just to please Liverpool.
No, this isn't just like we said before. I'm not even only looking at it from a Liverpool point of view. That's my first port of call. But if you just look at it overall, I mean, the relegation's harsh. I'll be honest, that's very harsh. But you're right. If you are gonna abide by a certain law, I guess you just have to run it. And if you're the team that goes down, you're the team that goes down. So, in my opinion, what you have to do is you have to think to yourself, okay, we've got a situation here where teams have played out 75% of the season, and where they are, they've earned their position. To act like it didn't happen upsets people, and to do what the French League have done upsets people. But you have to look at it, and as far as I'm concerned, morally, it's better that you earn the position that people are angry about than you just get something taken away from you that you worked hard to achieve. And it's not fair for a team like Leicester, for a team like Wolves, for a team like Sheffield United, who probably won't be in this position again after a hard-fought season, to just have it taken away because everyone else goes, nah, I don't want Liverpool to be champions. Man, you may have got in the Champions League. Arsenal may have got in the Champions League. So do you know what? Nah, scrap it all. Like, for me, that's worse.
How many times of this period of a season have we seen teams that are down there get out of it? We've seen Stricto brought up a great point the other day that I think it was I can't remember, the 98 season. We were way behind Man United and we caught them up and beat them by a point, right? It happens. Look at last season. Look at last season, how City was able to claw back the points deficit and win the league from you guys. So teams can get out of it. Teams can, maybe no one will catch you guys. I don't think anybody would have been able to catch you guys. But teams could catch Leicester, and they could catch Chelsea.
But that's if buts and maybes, though.
Huh?
That's if buts and maybes, though, Rob. Like when you, if
that's
really
why because it's if buts and maybes. That's why you can't just award it. It should be void. That's it. Start again next year.
Like I said, people will be upset either way. There's no two ways about it. Whichever way you do it, people will be upset. But the way the French League have done it, it's harsh. But I kind of like that they're cutthroat. They're just like, look, this is the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it?
All right. Let me ask you this. Right? If it's Man United at the top right now, right? Would you be saying the same thing? Yeah, just award it to them.
If they were 25 points clear, I would. I genuinely, if it was like 3 or 4 points, I'd be like, no, there's no way. Even if it was maybe 7 or 8, I'd be like, no. 25 points, I'd be like, nah. Nobody's catching.
Talking about the top 25 points, I'm saying no. Void.
Nobody's like as I said to you before, Robbie, we could have not played a game and been champions because City may have dropped points against you and Burnley before we even played. So no, but I'm saying that's how much we are going to win the league. That we could have been champions without even playing.
We're talking about the integrity of the whole league. We're not just talking about Liverpool here. Of the whole league. If the problem is that if we hand the league to you guys, if the league is handed to Liverpool and they say, right, you know what, Liverpool's so far ahead, we've got to give it to them, then all the other things have to kick in. You have to give whoever's in places for the top four, and the bottom 3 have to be relegated. And what I'm saying is that is unfair. Look at Villa, as I just said, they could get out of it quite easily, even if they had 3 games left. Let alone 10. 10 games, that's 30 points.
It is unfair. It's not
unfair. You just have to avoid.
You earn that position, though, Rob. That I'll keep on saying it. Norwich, it will be unfair, but they've been crap all season. That's on you. No one told you to be crap all season.
They could go on a run and get out of it, though. They could go on a run. As you said, only 75% of the season's gone. Supposing for the last 25%, they're amazing.
I know, but we've never had a pandemic like this before. So
that's why you just void it. We've never had this before. It's an exceptional, unusual circumstance. Start again next year if we can't complete the season.
I like I said, and not just because we're top. I just disagree. I feel like that is very. Yeah. I feel like it's very harsh, very unfair. I mean, all right, look at the situation with, because I saw your video about you guys being awarded the Champions League spot if it was to be voided. Now, if you look at it from a neutral point of view, I know you can't because obviously it will benefit Arsenal, but Man U and Arsenal are the two teams outside of the Champions League, yet they'd be the two teams put into it if it was voided. That's not fair.
I was joking about it. I was saying void it, and because it would be to our advantage, right? And that's why I understand your position, to our advantage. But if I'm being real, of course it wouldn't be fair, and that's why it shouldn't happen, and that's why it should just void the season. Let's get
who gets the positions then, though? Who does get Champions League positions?
You just give it to whoever last year. That's the only way you could do it.
But again, then that's unfair on Leicester and Chelsea, who are in the Champions League.
This season didn't exist because he couldn't finish it.
I feel like it's better that the way France did it is perfect for me. Like, it's a bit harsh, but I think that's the best way to do it.
It's perfect for you, yeah. It's not perfect if it's a Norwich fan. Let's get some comments. Mr. A says, stop trying to get Drifty to say void it. He has his opinion. Stop it. I'm not trying to get Drifty to say void it. If I was if I was in Drifty's position, I would be saying the same thing. But I'm not in Drifty's position. I'm looking at it as a league as a whole. You can't do one and not do the other. If you're going to say you're awarding this, then all the other teams have got to go down and that, and it's not fair. It's not fair, in my opinion. Take Me Back says, Robbie, the French league and government has used this to enforce that the yellow vests don't come back onto the streets. It's politics before football or public health. Well, I don't know the politics around it, but certainly, listen, they're suffering badly from the coronavirus. I don't think, I don't know. I'm not going to comment on politics. This guy says, Drifty is selfish. Only cares about the winners and not the losers.
Listen, everybody first and foremost cares about their own team before everyone else's. Let's be real. There's no two ways about that. I'm saying don't relegate anyone. So I'm not trying to punish the lower teams. I'm actually saying only promote and bring up the clubs, that are in their position. So I think the relegation is hard.
Wait a minute. You're confusing me. So Leeds, and you said earlier, Leeds and West Brom. You think they should come up?
Yeah, and the same should happen.
And then you're saying you don't relegate no one. So how are they going to come up if you're not relegating no one?
Because you do the same in every league, and then there'd be more teams in every league, and then you'd have a larger portion of relegation the following season. So 5 teams would go down the following season. And then that way you don't punish anyone now, but they could, potentially be punished next year.
All this is done just to make sure that you guys get the title awarded to you.
No, to make sure that Sheffield United get Europe, to make sure Leicester get Champions League.
Yeah.
It's for everybody. It's for everybody.
Oh, you're so concerned about Sheffield United. Oh, yeah.
I am. Chris Wilder's arguably manager of the season. You can't just take that away from him. Come on.
Oh my God! What is Drifty smoking? This guy says, "Void the thing." Kwame says,
"Yeah, void the thing." It's easy for people to say void, but
Oh my!
I'm gonna keep my stand on this the whole time, and I believe, given it how it is, at least you've earned where you are. You've earned where you are. Like, it's harsh, but it is what it is, man.
Ikem says the UEFA have already come out and said top 4 will be decided by sporting merit, and if the league isn't finished, so the top 4 will remain. Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester and City to the Champions League, which I think is not right. It's not fair because, teams could be, especially, listen, no one's going to catch Liverpool, but teams could catch Leicester. They were going for a bit of a blip even before the thing. Teams could catch Chelsea. Their form's been indifferent all season. City,
right, I tell you what, Rob. All right, let's say it isn't fair. the only team, because I'm looking at it now and I'm realizing Leicester basically just replaced Tottenham, right? Because it was Chelsea who qualified last season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, if they do it on the sporting merit rather than just acting like it didn't happen and then just letting it be the same as before, I think it's better this way based on the fact that all the teams are there except Leicester deserve it. Tottenham have been terrible. Tottenham don't deserve Champions League. So it actually works out better this way anyway. Leicester deserve to be in there. Tottenham don't.
You can't judge it like that. You can't judge it like that. You can't judge
Tottenham have been terrible this season. How do they get back into the Champions?
I remember the season when we finished second in the league to Leicester. We were terrible. And we still finished second and got into the Champions League.
No, but that was different though, isn't it?
Why is it different? You can't judge
it. Because there wasn't a pandemic that stopped football in its tracks. Do you know what I mean?
You're juggling things around to ensure that you get handed the title and then trying to juggle it to make sure that this one can get that and this one. No, it's not. Use 75%. You know what? If it was like 90%, if there was like 3 games left or something, I think you could look at it and then start working out and say, but I think with 10 games left.
But our percentage of winning the title is about 98% though, Robbie. So, you know what I mean?
You winning the title, but all the other implications.
But like I said, at least you've earned the position you're in. You've earned it. For me, that's the best way to do it anyway.
Bob says the complexity of this matter is currently those at the bottom of the table who were participating in pulling the plug in order to stay in the Premier League. All that may be blown away. So unfortunate. That's what I think. You know, it's just like you just got to start again. Ronakash says, Drifty, you're so damn biased. Use some logic, please.
I am using logic.
Beatbox Dre says, in France, they just robbed Marseille of a Champions League place, even though they are second right now because of sporting merit. And then again, I think I'm not sure how they were. I thought Marseille were going to get.
No, I'm sure they are. I'm sure Marseille's going to get it.
I heard that Lyon are kicking up a fuss because obviously Lyon are out of the Champions League and I think even the Europa League places. And they're kicking up a fuss about it. Remember, this has big implications, Drifty. Look at Lyon, right? Everyone's hovering, trying to pick off some of their players. That Aurier that everybody's looking at the moment. There's Dembele, the striker, right? Without Champions League football, they're likely to lose those players. And even though they were just outside the Champions League and Europa League, they had to still, you know, they're a big club. There's 10 games, 11 games left. They could have went on a run and got into it. Now, by not getting into it, they'll probably end up having to sell their best players. These things have big implications. So just so that they could award, you know, I don't think they should have awarded the league like that to PSG. I just don't think you can do that. I just think, you know,
there's always going to be somebody who's upset, Rob. That's how we have to realize it.
True. I mean,
there's always going to be someone who's upset.
Yeah. Stop being biased. Stop being biased, right? So, you know, as you said, on both sides, Peter says if Liverpool can't be named champions because it's not mathematically done yet, then they will be the only team in the Champions League next season, as there is the only team to mathematically qualify. So he's saying only one team into the Champions League. So again, you can't do that because you need 4.
But he's got a point, though. It's like if they're the only team who've mathematically qualified, if we're going by the whole, you shouldn't be given a league because you didn't actually win the league, isn't it the same thing for Champions League? That's like, well, we're the only people who actually gained enough points to be in their guarantee. So it's kind of.
I would revert back, and even though it would be to the detriment of Arsenal, I think the only fair way to do it would be to void it, and then you say that we start again. So the teams that came up are still up. The teams that were in the Champions League are still in the Champions League. The teams that are in the Europa League, I don't want to be in the Europa League, but I think that would be the only fair way to do it. You have to look at it and say we weren't able to complete the season, so we weren't able to deliver a result. So we start again next year.
But how do you tell that to Leeds and Bielsa and tell them all that hard work they've done was for nothing?
I say to Bielsa, I say, do you know what? You worked hard. But then this thing called coronavirus came along that took loads of lives and we had to lock down the whole country. And it was an unprecedented situation where you know, for a couple of months, nobody was allowed to go out. And then even after that, we couldn't open back up the grounds and that because it would have spread the disease. And I'm sorry, you worked hard, but we can't put lives at risk. And it's very unfair to do it in any other way. So go away and work hard again next season and you'll be able to come back up. But right now, no one's coming up. No one's going down. We start again.
I mean, that is extremely harsh, but I could just say the same thing to Leon then.
DJ says, Drifty, how would you feel if Liverpool were in Norwich's shoes? Or he says, case, Norwich's.
I would say the same thing. No relegation. I'll say the exact same thing. No relegation. You know what I mean?
Team Coppish, here you go. He's just got some of your guys here coming in. Should we just delay the start of next season and finish this season no matter how long it takes? That's a shout. I think it's UEFA and that's pressuring them to finish this league. What? That's another thing. Why couldn't they do that?
And the thing is,
guys, actually,
there's this real worry that there's going to be a second wave when the winter comes back round again. So they're thinking like autumn, winter time, there's a possibility that we'll get another wave of corona. So next season will probably be disturbed again. So that's another point. Just finish this season however you can, and next season might not even happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it'll be even worse if it gets hit only like 30% in. It'll be like, well, what was the point starting?
Mr. A says, if our government decide to copy the French model, then so be it. I've lost a family member to the virus and believe health over football. Come on, you Gunners. It's true. It's health over football. It's true. I mean, but as I said, I just can't see how you can award. I mean, why can't we start the league later? And also the other thing is, Drifty, I want to get your thought on that playing on neutral grounds things, like playing at Wembley or playing at St. George's Park.
To get it over and done with, I'd be all right with it. And if it's behind closed doors, I don't think it matters where it is. I mean, you might feel a little bit of home advantage in a familiar stadium, but without the fans, would it really be home advantage anyway? So if they all played, because what they could do is, you know, like with the World Cup, there's a game every day. And then over the course of a month, you play out like, is it 100 games or whatever crazy amount of games it is? They could just do that with the Premier League and have all of the medical staff that are on hand covering it. So you don't have to worry about new people coming in to worry about, did they have it, did they not have it? Just get one group of medics and one group of camera crew, whatever, and just use the same people. And every day, just have like 4 games a day, bang, 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 one after the other, and just roll it out. You could do that. And within a couple of weeks, you could have the season finished.
Oh, man, that's the integrity of the competition's gone when you start doing stuff like that, man. It's not.
At least you played the games then. Do you know what I mean?
You start again next year. Just say, boy, we couldn't finish the thing. Akash says, void the season and give Liverpool the extra points for next year. Drifty, say this. Arsenal 14 Forever says, say this. Void the thing.
Never void the thing.
Did you see? Actually, the mayor of Liverpool came out and said today that he thinks as well the season should be cancelled because he's saying that he's worried that if it starts back again, he's worried that fans are going to turn up outside the ground. He goes, you've got your diehard Liverpool fans, and they'll turn up. And you can see his point. If you guys won the league, fans are going to want to be there, innit?
No, they would. I mean, that was when you'd hope you'd hope common sense would prevail then, and people would be like, I know celebrating at home doesn't feel as good, but just stay at home. You then have to just hope common sense would prevail. Do you know what I mean?
It's going to be weird, isn't it? It'd be weird if it starts again and Liverpool win the league and there's no one there.
Oh, no, that would be horrible.
There's no parade. There's no one at the ground. It's just, hey, there's no, wow, it's going to be strange, man.
It would be. And that's what bothers me more than anything, that we don't get a chance to actually enjoy it in that moment. But I still think it's more important that we're rewarded for all the hard work we've put in. And then all the other stuff you can just be upset about afterwards. You know what I mean?
Nye says, you haven't earned any position unless you finish the season. So that's why you should void the league.
But the season would be finished if they make it official. This is the finish of the season. It won't be how it normally finishes, but it would still be officially
No, but
finished.
it wouldn't be. No, it wouldn't be finished because
It would be officially finished.
You wouldn't have completed the games. It's not finished.
Well, you know what I mean. Like I said,
Yeah,
I understand. I understand why people don't want it to happen, but for me, what you've earned makes more sense for you to be rewarded for than taken away, and then it's just what happened last season. I don't get that logic, except to stop Leicester, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City from getting what they deserve. So, you know what I mean?
Jaden says, Robbie, would you give Liverpool the title to get into the Champions League? Yeah. Yeah, I would, right? That's me just being totally selfish, but it wouldn't be right. It doesn't mean that it's right. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that if you, the integrity of the league, you've got to me, you've got to avoid it. But listen, I get Drifty's position because I've been feeling the same. But Trent Singh says, let Liverpool win the title or let them celebrate over Zoom.
Believe me, we will.
No, they deserve it. It's been a great season.
We will. You'll see the TikToks, the Zooms. You'll see it all. We'll break the internet with the thingy. Trust me. Don't get it twisted.
Glamour says, Lyon are launching a lawsuit. So here it comes. Lyon are launching a lawsuit against the French league. They want to do a playoffs to decide the European places. You think that in the UK, should Liverpool get the title, the teams from 3rd to 10th and 16th to 20 do a playoffs? That's not a bad shout. Although
I feel like that would,
you still got to play games, though, innit? You know what I mean? So if you're unable to play games, but again, that's what I was saying about Lyon now. Lyon are not going to be in the Champions League because of the places. A regular team in the Champions League, they're not going to be in it. I don't even think they make the Europa League on the standings of how it stands. And they've got some very big players on big wages, and they will have to sell those players because of this thing just being awarded. And I think that would happen here in the Premier League as well. I could see Arsenal launching a lawsuit. I could see Manchester United, Sheffield United, all of these teams saying, no, what? How do you know? I mean, either nobody gets it or we should get it. But those teams that go down are going to lose, was it £50 million or something you're going to lose?
But again, like I said, you're taking away the 50 million from Leeds, though, and you're taking away 50 mil from West Brom, and they will sue, and then Liverpool will sue, and Leicester will sue. There's always going to be somebody who's suing and upset. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I and that's why I think you just got to avoid it, because if you avoid it and you don't give it to anybody, nobody can sue. Nobody.
Yeah, the people who that screws over can sue.
No, nobody could sue, because if you're in charge of Liverpool and I turn around and I say, right, the league's over, we cannot get this league completed this season. We can't get the games on. End of, the league is finished, right? And we're just going to start again next season. When you go to court, how are you going to sue me? The first thing I'm going to turn around and say to the judges, because of the coronavirus, we couldn't complete the season, and we thought it'd be unfair to send teams down and unfair to award anything, right? So I'm sure I'd win, because I wouldn't be doing anything wrong. We just got to start again. And it's too bad on Leeds, but it's nobody's fault.
But it's too bad on Lyon.
You know what I mean?
It works the same way. Do you know what I mean?
People having funerals at the moment. I had one the other day. That my dad's funeral the other day. Only 10 people can come, right? And I would have loved to have had family come in from all over the country and around the world. But I understand it because of the situation at the moment. It is what it is. So football teams would have to understand it. That listen. There's nothing we could do. We would tried everything to try and get the season on, but we couldn't, so we had to avoid it.
Nah, yeah, no one's ever going to get me to agree. Getting me to agree.
Colin says, if you give the league to Liverpool, the city centre will be packed solid. That is fair, because
that's when we just ask for people to be sensible, though. Do you know what I mean? Say, look, guys, when we're all allowed back out again, even though it'll be late, we can have a party then. But let's not. Do you know what I mean? Let's be sensible, stay at home, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah. The mayor, Mr. A says the mayor of Liverpool is an Everton fan, so he's got an agenda going.
Well, if that's true, there you go, isn't it?
Pablo says PSG won theirs, and that's fair because no one else can win in that Farmers League. As for Liverpool, void it. Listen, it does set a precedent from what we're seeing. And this is not talking about the issue, but it says, Robbie, do you think Ceballos deserves a bid of more than £30 million? I think he's worth about 30 million, no more. And then the voided ones go on. There's people supporting you, though. There are people supporting you, and there are people that Viniac says, this might sound weird, but if the season continued without any pandemic, there was no guarantee that Liverpool were going to win the league. You cannot award the title if you haven't won it mathematically.
I mean, come on. Like, when people say that, I know that is pure, I wouldn't say hate, but that's just like, come on, man. Let's be sent. And I don't want to be rude to anyone, but how is there no guarantee we were going to win the title? I'm a pessimistic guy. People know, like, I will look and I'll always worry and I'll get panicked for no reason. Even I was like, yeah, we've won the league. We're 25 points clear. We only need to win one more game. If City drop a point, it was like, come on, we are champions. There's no two ways about it. You can beat the bush till there's no leaves on it. We are champions. So we should be given the title. We are champions. Everybody knows we're... Rob, here's the joke. At Christmas, everyone said, they've won the title. The title's over. Where's all that energy now?
Just in, you know what I mean? You say that. Just, you know what I mean? You just say that.
You know what I'm saying? The goalposts are being moved all over the place.
No, it's not goalposts. You ain't won it. Mathematically, the guy's right. Mathematically, you haven't won it.
We are champions.
You know what? It would have been... I reckon if mathematically Liverpool would have won it, maybe we wouldn't be even having these arguments now, because they would say, well, mathematically, Liverpool had already won it. But
then there's people that would have still said...
the other issues.
No, but then people would have still said, no, but if the season gets voided, whether they won it or not officially on points, you can't give them a title from a season that don't exist. And Rob, everyone will find all reasons.
I think they're right.
There you go then. Right. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter, man.
Abdallah says players will risk their lives and some may die due to our selfishness of entertainment. It's disgraceful. So,
I don't believe they should do it in an unsafe way. No way. I don't believe they should do it in an unsafe way. It should be made sure that everything is done safely. Do you know what I mean? But remember, there are people putting themselves at risk every day, and
Drifty. Suppose they can't do it safely.
If they can't do it safely, then just call it as it is. That's my opinion.
You can't. As I said, right. I understand it because I'd be saying the same as you, but you can't do that. You can't, because it's too much. You saw there what Leon are doing. There's too many implications. Table Tennis Twin says, Robbie, you can't decide the league because Villa have a game in hand, so they would be relegated. Even though they could climb out of the relegation zone if they win their game in hand. That's the point I'm making. What do you say?
I don't think nobody should be relegated. I think the relegation part is harsh. So,
but I'm saying you're saying things to suit you. No one should be relegated, but then you can.
No, what I want to do is not punish anybody, but just reward success. That's what I want to do.
Lucas says, if Liverpool was undefeated, I see your man's point. I know we shouldn't overact to a couple of results, but Liverpool was on a couple of bad results, and there was still time for another slip-up.
Come on. It's all silly talk. It's all silly talk, man.
Miss A says, Robbie, you said numerous times on the Buy Show that Liverpool have won the league dating back to Christmas. I did say that, but you hadn't won it. I'm saying it, metaphorically, or as they'd say. I'm saying it that Liverpool are going to win the league, and I'm still saying that even now they're going to win the league. You are going to win the league if it continues. If the league don't continue,
look, they did it to PSG, and I think that's got everyone shook. You know what I'm saying? Like, That's what's going. Everyone's shook. Cause let's be honest, we're the team everyone loves to hate. We are. So you know what I mean.
No one's hating on you, but I think people have admired Liverpool this season. I don't think
Not
people.
not many.
I don't think people have hated Liverpool this season. I think
I
because
don't
of
know where you've been, Robbie, but they hate our guts.
no. I think sometimes because we all feel that when you're a fan of a club, and you know what I mean. But I don't feel that people have hated Liverpool this season. I feel people have looked on it and have kind of admired the way in which Liverpool have done what they've done. I really do. I think on the whole they have. I don't think they are hating on Liverpool. But it's not finished.
You know what? I know this is a little bit left, but I've got a quick question for you, because I do respect your opinion on these things. They're saying that they think Champions League and all the other stuff that's being messed up because of the leagues, no income, whatever. They're thinking about very, very like how tight they've been with FFP right now. They're feeling like really loosening it up for 12 to 24 months to kind of allow owners to just put money in because there's been so much money they've lost through what's been going on. Now, as a team like ours, who've got owners who are so strict within their makeup of how they do things, even without financial fair play, they're not just going to pump loads of money in. Can you imagine what that will mean for City, Man U, all those clubs to just run right now, spend 300-400 mil as they feel like it, and then teams like Liverpool and Arsenal really get not left behind, but like what I mean, all of a sudden we're like, hold on, this isn't a fair playing field anymore. What's going on?
Yeah, I've seen that, and I don't think I don't see how that can be fair to do that either. Because I remember you got Newcastle about to be taken over by Saudi owners, so they could just come in and say, right, what? No financial fair play, right? We're just going to buy everybody going until,
and I wouldn't even blame them.
Fighting up in 2 years' time, so we're just going to catch up in 2 seasons, and they'll buy everybody going, and they'll blow everybody out of the water with wages. I don't think they can do it that way. You know what I mean? I think maybe, but it's got to be in a limited fashion.
Because the talk is they'll just let you do what you want for 12 months. And as you said, that means teams like Chelsea, Man City, possibly Newcastle, as a Liverpool fan, I'm thinking City with a ban means they can't really do that much and we could still say the best team. If they're allowed to go and buy whoever they want all of a sudden, straight away, they'll just go back to being the best team and there's nothing we can do about it.
In theory, they could come and buy your players. That's what's happened to us over the years. So they could come and buy a Salah.
Do you know what I mean?
They could say, how much you get in there? Boy, you're on 180 grand a week, Marnie. All right, come to us, man. We'll give you 500. You know what I mean? And nobody's going to be able to turn that, especially at the moment. So this guy says governments predict that we will be safe from the virus in several months. By then, it will be too late to play void the ting. The whiteboard historian says every option is unfair. The FA just need to pick one. That's the point. Every option is unfair. That's why you just have to say, start again. That's what I feel.
That's unfair.
That's how I feel.
But that's unfair as well.
That's the only one you could choose which wouldn't be open to litigation. I think that litigation's not going to win, because if you bring a case against the Premier League and say you voided the season, right, and we thought we were going to win it, the first thing they're going to say is, well, it wasn't completed and there was nothing in place to say if something like this happens, what to do. This is what the problem is, if there was something written into Premier League rules that said something like this happens, so 75% of the games are completed, so you go with who's wherever they are, everybody knows, fair enough, Liverpool get the title, those teams get relegated, but the's nothing written.
There's a rumor that there is, though. I don't know how true it is, but there's a rumor there is a law that says that.
No, there isn't. There's nothing written there. So this guy is a Liverpool fan. Jordan Henderson, the best player in the world, he's called Pratt Robbie. He ain't happy with me at all. Salah says, no doubt he's another Liverpool fan, but he says, Salah says, football players sweat, breathe heavy, when dehydrated, slide around on the same pitch. It's a contact sport. Players could be, I can never say that word, asystematic. Just wait void. Emergency services are required elsewhere. And this guy simply says, live void pool. Arv says, Drifty, why are you afraid to void the season? You have no confidence in Liverpool's ability to win it next year.
Yeah, I do. But next year I want to be back-to-back champions, not winning it for the first time.
I think, Drifty, if that thing's awarded to you, it'd be forever tainted as well.
It would be, but it would be better than being that season we got robbed. I tell you, it would be for I'm sure every Liverpool
the
fan
season
will
finished.
rather take
You
it.
didn't get robbed. How did you get robbed?
Because we're champions.
No, the season you got robbed. What season was that?
The season when we didn't get awarded a title we clearly deserved.
When?
Now.
Oh, this one. Oh, okay.
Yeah. If they take it away from us, that will feel worse than people bantering us. We didn't officially win it by 38 games. That's the only thing. But I can take banter. I take banter for Stevie slipping still now, and that was like 7 years ago.
This guy says Liverpool paid salaries for the year for their superstars. Mid-season breaks, bonuses to be paid. Where are we? You better believe we be suing if this thing is voided. What case would you have? I can't see what case anybody could bring if they just said void and we start again.
Well, for a start, now they'd have the French example of the French league awarding for where you are rather than taking it away.
We ain't even in the EU no more, man.
I know, but at least another major league has already done something that would mean, look, there's an example of another country doing it. And then on top of that, a great lawyer would just be able to show, whether it be by whatever you're looking at in terms of probabilities, all of the ways of working things out, whatever it is, within the next week or so, Liverpool were going to be crowned champions. And after all that effort, all that time, all that money spent, everything going into it, how can you take that all away for all the achievements that we'd made? Like, there would be a case. There'd be a case.
What would be the probabilities of the team at the bottom?
But again,
probabilities.
This is the thing. I feel like
with a game in hand.
I feel like the relegation is harsh, as I keep saying. So I don't think that should happen. But if you're relegated, the argument could be, well, if they're not relegated and we void it, you will say, oh, yeah, we didn't get a relegation and, you know, it was fair, blah, blah, blah. But then I'll just have Leeds' attorney and West Brom's attorney sitting and say, well, how's that fair when we don't get the money we were about to get for our promotion?
Well,
so it works both ways.
I'm representing the Premier League. Then I'm going to turn around and say, well, you've used the example of France. I'm going to use the example of Holland, where basically they just voided the season. That there was nobody got relegated, nobody was given the champions, right? The season.
There must be lawsuits going off in Holland. There must be. They can't all be happy with that.
Nobody's going to be happy at any of these situations, but that's what they've done in Holland. There's no champions. There's no relegation. Even Alan Pardew was able to keep that team up, even though he'd been pants, because there was no relegation, right? I think that's the fairest way to do it. They just start again. We go again next season. We say, Liverpool, we go again next season.
And have to have a near perfect season for a third year in a row.
That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. That's life, man. That's life.
But I would say that to
unusual circumstance. That's how it is. There's people going to go back to work. They're going to be out of a job because of the coronavirus. It's nobody's fault. It's not going to be the owner of the company's fault. It's just he ain't got the money to keep you on. He's going to have to let you go. There's going to be shops that are going to go under because it's not their fault. They could have been a successful business before, but because of the coronavirus, they're going to. It is what it is. What it is.
But you could use that same logic for the argument, though, isn't it?
You can't make up things to suit Liverpool. That's what it seems like you're doing. You're making it up. You're saying,
it's not just for us.
We'll have the champions, but we won't relegate no one. That is making it up to suit Liverpool because you've either got to do one or the other. So you say, right, champions, same people who are in the top four, and you three are at the bottom, you're relegated. But that's how
if you want to be that harsh, bro. If you want to be that harsh, then we got to tell Norwich that's how the cookie crumbles, then, isn't it?
We're going to do a couple more. It's always great to have Drifty on, man. Trust me. Noah says, hello, Don, Robbie. I am a Chelsea fan, and I think they should void the season and give the title to Liverpool, and for relegation, do a playoff for the Premier League sides and the Championship sides. But supposing we can't play no games. The whole reason why we'd be cancelling the season is because we can't play. So how are you going to do playoffs? If you're going to do playoffs, then we may as well complete the season. So, you know.
I guess you could do a playoff right before the season starts when it's allowed to start, maybe.
And then the team that goes down, well, how are they going to be able to prepare for the fact that they're down in the Championship? It's good. Do you not see the huge implications, Drifty, of teams that get relegated?
Yeah, I do.
First of all, you're going to lose Villa. Right. They turn around to Villa and they say, Villa, you're down because of how it thing. Number one, Grealish is gone. Their best player, gone.
He's probably going anyway. Though,
cheaply. Huh?
He's probably going anyway, though. Do you know what I mean?
No, probably. He's gone, right? Their prime asset is gone and they lose millions. How can that be fair?
Again, it's just the same way it's not fair that Leeds don't get the millions. Like, it works both ways, you know what I mean?
It's nobody's fault. It's how it goes. And I'd like to see Leeds come up. But I want to see Leeds in the Premier League. But you can't if it ain't finished. It ain't finished. You have to stay here. Come again.
Well, we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one, isn't it?
Caution says, I agree with Robbie. You either void the season or play it. No way can you crown champions or relegate, promote unless the season is completed. Steve Green says, if the season gets voided, Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool team will be out to prove a point next season. And that's true.
But we've been proving points. How much longer can we keep proving points, man? Do you know how hard it is to go 2 seasons and lose 2 games?
It's how it goes. Bam Bam says, preach, Robbie, preach. You're talking facts. And that's the only way. That's the only way to keep the same energy for everyone. No lawsuits due to COVID-19 because you start again.
Look, no one's going to get me to agree. So.
Option. Here's an option for you. Liverpool can start next season plus 10 points. City plus 8. Leicester plus 6. Chelsea plus 5, etc. I don't agree with that either. You start again from scratch.
And that wouldn't even give us an advantage. What's 2 points over City? Like, that's not really an advantage anyway.
Would Drifty be happy with a certificate of participation?
Listen, kind of foolishness is that. We don't do participation ribbons right here, man. Only winners and losers, man.
I'm going to do a couple more, man. It's been a great debate tonight, and there's been so many comments coming in. Trust me. It's been fantastic. I love it when Drifty comes on, man. Steve O'Connor says, that lovely shiny trophy in Liverpool cabinet, though, would be beautiful. So he obviously wants to see it happen. It would. Listen, you guys deserve it. You deserve it, but you can't have it if we ain't finished the season, Drifty.
Again, I mean, it looks like there's a possibility they might try and find a way to finish this. So maybe all the talk might end up just being...
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Harsh says, just give Liverpool the title, cancel the Champions League and the Europa League next season, and no relegation. Again, juggling around things just to give Liverpool the title. Ozzy Gunnar says, you won't be able to beat the Premier League in court because they will say that they were following government guidelines and you can't go against the government and win. That's true. If the Premier League said we were following government guidelines, season had to end, had to start again.
But I mean, it was government guideline why they stopped in France, right? The government didn't even consult the league. They just said no more football can happen. But then the French league themselves could still make the decision on how they do their position. So he's got a point to a degree, but you can still give out trophies or give out positions, even if the government you can't play no more.
You hear what you're saying? Give out
positions, yeah.
Give out.
Deservedly.
Man United Van Cam says, play the league out on FIFA 20. But let a rat play Liverpool's games to make it interesting.
You know what? For a laugh, I actually said they should do the remaining games on FIFA or PES or whatever. Let all the managers play and see how it goes.
I bet Klopp's good at it, then you wouldn't be saying that. Imagine Henderson lifting the trophy by himself with social distancing. I mean, it will look. That's what I'm telling you, man. Do you know what? I'm for the thing that says void it, and then if Liverpool came back next year and won it, I think you guys will get so much respect. If you just get that thing awarded to you, there's always going to be that. You imagine United fans already.
I know.
They're going to be like, that don't count. That's going to be the banter that will forever follow it.
I think the banter's going to be worse if they say, "Oh, do you remember Liverpool won the league but got it taken off them?" That banter's going to be way worse. Way worse. Trust me, that will be way worse. So,
Drifty, as you said, man, we're never going to agree on this one. And I get it. If I was in your shoes, I'd be saying the same thing. But I personally think that, you know, I want to see the league completed, and Liverpool deserve to win it. But I think if it can't be completed, it has to be voided. That's my opinion. Give your final word.
I think they should try their hardest to finish it, just to settle the debate, if it's safe, if it can be done with nobody being harmed. If they do feel like it's going to be too much of a risk, then I just think they should call it. Don't relegate anyone, only promote, have a 5-team relegation the following season, and you earn the position you're in.
Okay, that's Drifty's opinion. Drifty, thank you very much for coming on tonight. Tell everybody about your channel again before you go there, bro.
Sorry, say that again, bro.
Tell everyone about your channel before you go there.
Yeah. You can catch us Team Coppish on Twitter now. Unfortunately, we actually lost our account due to some craziness, so we're trying to build that back up again. So yeah, if you can come over on
YouTube.
No, on Twitter. We lost our Twitter account, so we've had to start again. So if anyone can jump back over, Team Coppish, get our numbers back up again, guys. And it's Coppish on YouTube and on Instagram, guys. So yeah, Liverpool channel. Big Liverpool fan channel, trying to get up there with the rest, trying to be like you, Rob. That's what we're trying to do. Do you know what I mean? So we take inspiration from people like you, who obviously we admire and stuff. And yeah, man, check us out, peeps.
I respect. So your sorry, I can't resist this joke. So your Twitter channel got voided.
That's a low blow, Robbie. That's a low blow.
I couldn't resist it. Sorry, apologies. I'm sorry.
low blow. But yeah, no.
Respect. Get over and support their channel, man. These guys, I love watching them, man. They've got great opinions. So make sure you check them out. I love having Drifty on. We're going to get you back on again, Drifty. Let's see how this thing develops. Hopefully, you know what? Hopefully we won't be having this conversation because we get the season finished. All right.
Yeah, man. Enough respect for having me on, man.
No worries. And Henderson, like that guy said, will be lifting it up on his own.
Well, we'll be celebrating, trust me.
How many people can you get on a Zoom call?
10, I think. No, Zoom's a lot, innit?
Zoom.
I don't know.
You never walk alone on Zoom. It's a respect 50. Thanks to everybody for watching the show today. We'll be back in the morning for another AFTV News Daily. Thanks very much.